My name is Jeremy Matheis, and I sing bass, second bass. I'm also the associate director for the Compline Choir.
When did you start singing with the choir?
Good question. I started, and it was around the same time that I met my husband, Jeff, and then around the same time that my dad was diagnosed with liver cancer, so it was all kind of a blur. It was March of 2005 when I first started, somewhere around there. Well, I would say the first highlight was simply just the opportunity and the privilege to be able to sing for Peter Halleck, the founding director. I really knew nothing about Peter before I joined the group, but I had been going to school with Jason Anderson at University of Washington, and he had always been putting the bug in my ear to check out Compline, come here Compline, you should join the Compline Choir. To learn from someone who I have such great respect for as a musician, as a composer, as a church musician. Other highlights are just the various concerts and services that we've been able to participate in, whether it's been the Oannathon service that begins Advent every year, or a fundraising concert, whether it's a tiny little house concert we did leading up to our pilgrimage, or a big concert at a church that stretches and pushes us in new and different ways. But I don't think you can top going back to the essential birthplace of where this choir started. And that was when Peter Halleck was in England at Canterbury Cathedral, and being able to visit and walk in his footsteps, not only his, but footsteps of the saints, other saints, and martyrs, and to be able to sing the final responses that Peter wrote in Canterbury Cathedral to conclude a candlelight tour. I can't imagine anything greater than that. But then we ended up, near the shrine of Thomas Becket, and I could tell we were closing, and Jason's, we got to sing something. We're all naturally standing in this circle, and I could tell where it was going, and so allowing myself to truly and fully be in that moment with my community is something I can't ever imagine topping. First time Peter asked me to direct, I'm pretty sure it was actually through Jason, Peter wants to know if you want to direct this Sunday. And I was just almost dumbfounded. Why would he want me to direct? And I had a lot of anxiety and some stress going into that rehearsal for reasons you can understand and probably experience yourself. But I think I told you and the rest of the choir this actually not too long ago when we were rehearsing one night, that after that first experience, I'd emailed Peter, he emailed me and said, how did things go? And I said, well, despite all of the stress and angst I felt leading into it, it went quite well. And he said something to the effect of, yeah, the choir really is a well-trained horse. And we laugh about it. I remember at the very beginning, so probably that first Sunday of the pandemic, it was the night before that, I should say, we were having a couple of friends over for dinner, not even still realizing what we were in or what we were about to be stepping into. And one of our friends just kind of had a breakdown of just the weight of what we were looking at, this airborne global pandemic, this worldwide health emergency. And we were talking about the fact that Compline and St. Mark's were essentially shutting their doors, as terrible as that sounds. And yeah, it hit everybody in different ways, and I think to different degrees. And some of us were called to keep the torch going. And even in that, there was moments of joy, but also there was loss and there was sorrow because we weren't together. Compline isn't just a musical experience for me. Compline has become my spiritual home, and I find a true centering here every week that I show up and participate in this community. So missing that with the full choir, at one point going down to just two of us, it's so hard because I need that community. One of our members recently expressed that they have difficulty praying by themselves, and that resonated with me. And I guess I never really put those words to it. Like, I can pray better in community, and that's what part of what Compline is for me. I mean, just being in this choir, like the collection of people in this choir is so unique, and I love the personalities, because my style of humor meshes with a number of them. There are times when we're in rehearsal and we're having way more fun than we should be. But just as far as like one specific, we used to go to Deluxe after the service and hang out, grab some food and drink, and just spend more time together. That wasn't preparing for a service or singing it. And there were a lot of good, fun, funny moments there. I remember when we were on pilgrimage at Salisbury, seeing the picture of the choristers that they had from Salisbury Cathedral Choir, and they took this snapshot of them all running in their vestments in front of the cathedral. And I told Jason, I said, we need to reenact that picture. And he looked at me and said, make it happen. We never did. But yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. I didn't necessarily think that at the beginning. That was before they had even sung their very first service. And my reason for thinking that was completely selfish. But I remember waking up in Canterbury that first, I guess it was a Monday morning for us, early Monday morning, late Sunday night here in Seattle. And Jeff and I were trying to get the setup right because we missed like the very first part, but once we caught in to the service, they were like partway through the orison and they were singing Down to the River to Pray. And that was, I think that kind of pivoted my whole mindset of, forget about your opportunities to direct. This is an opportunity for this choir to have yet a greater impact on its community. And I'm all for that. I hope they continue, and I hope they continue to become a regular part of what we do, because I think it will only impact our community for good. But I guess one thing I will say is that I know this choir and this community is not going anywhere because of the foundation and the legacy that Peter laid, and the fact that Jason is continuing that. And I can't think of a better person to continue this community, to continue its impact, but also to push this community, to push us as musicians. I mean, that's already happening in the fact that we're looking at new music. We're looking at new music with more advanced notice to be able to really dig our teeth into it. Some of Jason's psalm settings, but it's just the lineage and the legacy is there, and I look forward to how all of it is going to continue to allow us to be the Compline Choir that people have known, but the Compline Choir that still is yet to exist and still is yet to make an impact, especially as we're coming out of the pandemic. What will that look like, and what new people will we reach? Some people, believe it or not, still might not even know us as the Compline Choir. They know us as those monks at St. Mark's. That's still an idea that exists.
Wow.
So, maybe some anonymity is good, but it's also good to know, for people to know who we are. Yeah, and that has changed too. So.